Fuck the police is possibly one of the most misused and misheard quotes of all time, along with when the Bible says, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So, hey guys, welcome back to my video, and today we are going to be talking about fuck the police, that quote that you hear constantly. And I just wanted to give my thoughts out there about that quote. And if you've been living under a rock for the past, 30 years, I think, that has been a phrase that's been constantly, 20 to 30, 25 years, the last 25 years, it's been a phrase that's been used a lot, about the police, and it came from an NWA song about how the police, about how white racist police are abusing their powers and harming and killing and racially profiling black people. And I feel like it's been misused a lot of the times, and I fully support, I fully support what happened with Rodney King. I fully support that was a travesty of justice, Timothy Thomas, all those people. That is truly that is a tragedy, but I feel like it's misused a lot, and not really by black people because a lot of black people, they've earned the right to use that. Like, if a cop pulls them over because they see they're black and they come up with some, BS, a ticket or something, and it's based on their race, and they're racist, and they're abusing their powers, that's fully understandable. I think that's fully understandable, but when I hear white people using it, I cringe a little, because it wasn't meant for white people to say it. It was meant for black people when a travesty of justice happened, or when a police officer, a racist police officer, abused their power, and the entire song is just talking about the different, all the stuff that's happening to black people in LA, and just all over the world, actually. All over the U.S. and the world and everything. And it's really, I feel like it's been misused a lot. White people say it, so say they, they're doing something, they're speeding, and then a cop pulls them over and gives them a parking ticket, and then afterwards they're like, oh yeah, fuck the police, oh yeah, It's like, you do realize, you have listened to the song, right? You know what that means, right? That's not for white people when they do something wrong. That's not just a thing where it's just like, oh yeah, fuck the police. They have a legitimate reason to pull me over, and I just don't like accepting this punishment. And to me, it's kind of like cultural appropriation, and if you don't know, that's a big boy word. It's a politically correct term. I don't like to think of myself as necessarily PC, but I just cultural appropriation, if you don't know, is when white people, or a majority of someone, it doesn't have to be white people, it can be any majority in the world, just anything. Any majority goes and then steals a minority's culture, or their their I don't know how to describe it. Their culture, I think that is the best term. Say a lot of black people use the N-word as what up my, and they used it as just casually to greet other other black people, or other, just like their friends or whatever, and they're doing that to take the value out of the word, because it was and still is used as like a racial slur, like with a er at the end, with like the you know, I don't want to say it, but you get the point. And cultural appropriation. This is actually a pretty good example of cultural appropriation, where white people are saying, "Oh yeah, fuck the police. Oh yeah, yeah," and it wasn't meant for white people. It was meant for black people when they are unjustly, or minorities really, when they're unjustly like beaten or killed or pulled over, some abuse of justice, some racist police officer or law enforcement officer abuses their power on racial grounds. And then it's not meant for white people when they're like when they get speeding ticket, or when they parked in the wrong spot, or they parked in the red, or whatever happens, whatever. And then white people say, "Oh yeah, fuck the police." It's like it wasn't meant for you. It was meant for these actual tragedies and travesties of justice that happened, like Rodney King, like Timothy Thomas, just these horrible things that have happened to minorities and black people primarily. And then NWA made this song because they were genuinely frustrated with what was happening, and them living in LA and growing up in like South Central and all that, they see a lot of that. They see a lot of like the like all the stuff that's happening. Like they'll be walking along, and then they'll see like this cop just like slamming like a black teenager against like the hood of his car for like some BS, like some bogus like thing. And it's just not like, I'm not saying all white people use it, but I because that's not true. You can't generalize like that. But it just, I've heard white people use it when they're actually when there's a reason they actually they're actually facing the consequences of doing something. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, fuck the police," and they go on their social media and they're like, "Oh, he's got a speeding ticket tonight. Fuck the police." And then they go on their like Tumblr or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my god," and then they're like bitching and moaning about how tragic their life is. "Oh yeah, fuck the police." And then when it was actually meant for injustices, racial injustices that were happening, and it's like, I just cringe because of that. I just cringe when white people say like "fuck the police" in like a serious, like, straight faced way. It's like they clearly didn't catch the meaning of that song, and I bet you most of them haven't heard the actual song. Either that, or they heavily misinterpreted, or they know it and they're just using that as an excuse to like say that. And it's like it's not for you. That's cultural appropriation. And like, if there's actual tragic things happening to minorities, and they earn the right to say "fuck the police," because the police the police deserve that. Like the police officer. I'm not saying all police deserve that. There's plenty of officers. There's plenty of officers who are complete, like there's plenty of officers who protect us and who are completely just and impartial to everyone. And there's just some bad examples that stick out. There's just some bad eggs, some sociopaths or some racists or whatever that stick out. But that's a whole other discussion. But basically what I'm saying is, white people, Stop misusing the term "fuck the police," because that is not what it was meant to be. It was meant for actual injustices happening, like whether it's a beating, a killing, like a shooting, anything. Anything that's unjust and is happening to minorities. That's what it was meant for. So just shut up. Don't go on your Tumblr and start bitching and moaning and complaining about how you got a $150 parking ticket when there's actual black people who were not doing anything, and or minorities in general, just being shoved on the pavement and beat and like killed, in extreme cases killed, like Timothy Thomas, or so many others. It's kind of hard to count. And or like a beating like Rodney King, like that. That's just. It's just like stop saying that. You don't know what it means. Like if you're using it like that, you don't know what it means. You don't know what the song meant and what the meaning of it was. So after this video, if you're one of those people, one of those white people, or you don't have to be white people, just like anyone who misuses that and is not like, I mean, you can still be a minority and still use that even when it's a actual reason. But when it's not an actual reason, and when a minority or anyone really, there's an unjustness with anyone. There's something that happened that was not right. That is what that song is meant for. It's not meant for you to complain and use it as just this just random dilly dally, like kind of like that just like, oh yeah, oh fuck the police. I'm so funny, right guys? Oh yeah, I'm being controversial. Oh. Don't do that. It was meant for actual injustices happening in the world. So with that, I recommend after this video, like, even if you're not one of those people who use it, listen to the song. I mean, go look at the lyrics. I recommend you listen to the song because it's a very good song. I personally like it very much. And listen to the lyrics and hear what they're saying. Don't hear that one line, "fuck the police." Hear the line about black people getting searched down because these police are racially profiling them because they think they have drugs on them. Like, I don't want to quote the line because it has an N-word in it, but all this stuff happening, and it's like just go listen to the song after this. So yeah. Anyway, this is just a video to get my frustrations out because I've just seen this recently, a lot recently, and it's just like I just don't like it. So anyway, that was kind of a rant. Well, anyway, like and subscribe for more content like this. I mean, if you want it. If not, dislike it. Comment hate comments. I personally don't give a poop what you do. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. So anyway, keep calm and watch on. Bye.